GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Govi, a vernacular edutech brand, skilling everyone everywhere.
I think Rajamouli sir did kind of take his films outside before that, because my very first memory of watching a Telugu film was Magadhira. This is so embarrassing, but I didn't know who a DOP is.
Oh shit.
Like I didn't grow up. I used to watch a film and I knew, okay, there are actors.
There's the cameraman.
No.
But, initially I was a little trashed by as you said, the legacy I come from and all of that. There's a sense of pressure that you need to deliver successful films, but it doesn't happen. It's not that smooth. My dad or my uncles who were in the industry, they always made sure, probably they knew that I would get into the situation where I would end up getting pressurized. But from the beginning, even before I even felt or heard or seen something like that, they've kind of made sure that I'm ready and equipped to deal with situations like this, especially Allu Arjun. Like even after hitting a lot of success and all of that, the amount of hard work he puts in, I mean, like, he's an exceptionally good dancer, but he has a dance studio where even till today he has, he practices dance for a few hours every now and then. Charan, he's a very balanced person. Like he kind of, in the younger generation, he's the one that puts the family together. I think I met her at a party. I was in the corner. I told you I was an introvert. I was not talking to anyone. I was in a corner. Probably she thought, who's this poor sad guy standing in the corner? She came and said hi. And then we ended up working in a film. That's where we hit it off.
It was 2015, and I remember this was the exact banquet that we were called to interview Rajamouli sir, because Bahubali 1 was coming out. It was supposed to be a group interview of 15 minutes, and we were a bunch of 4 newbies, all kids who are doing well in their own respective positions today. And many of the senior journalists hadn't turned up because they didn't know or didn't have an idea of who Rajamouli was. That was 2015, and we are talking 9 years later, where the boundaries and the lines have blurred and everybody is queuing up to interview everybody. And gladly so, today we have the cast of Operation Valentine joining me for a conversation only on Galatta India. Thank you, Varun. Thank you, Manushi, for doing this. I want to start off by asking that today you are doing the film in 2 languages, right? Genuinely this had happened. And I told Rajamouli sir also when we met for RRR that, sir, aapko yaad hai ye hua tha. And then after the movie released, the same people queued up to do that interview, and some of them got, some of them didn't. How do you see the change in perception? How do you see the change in outlook that audiences and people in the industry have towards everybody today, especially you?
I mean, I always wanted to see this change. I wanted to see these lines blur across the states or the various industries we have. But it took someone like Rajamouli sir to erase those, and I'm glad it happened. And thing is, earlier it was one odd film in Hindi that would work in Telugu, or one odd film in Telugu that would work in Hindi. But now it's you see a Kannada film doing amazingly well all across the country, and you see a movie from Hindi working everywhere else. I think it's a very welcoming change, because I've always believed that we make amazing cinema in India. I mean, starting from the northeast to the west, north and south of India, Malayalam industry, Bollywood, like. But the thing is, we were always stuck to our own region because of the lack of the issue because of language, the language barrier. I think slowly, because that's erased, I think it's amazing that movies are opening up, and hence you see that India is on a global map because of this. I think that is this is just the brink. This is the start of how big this film industry can get. I think it's going to be explosive from here on.
I think we are the biggest.
We are, of course. Like,
when we collectively come together,
you see the number of films that we make. Like, each industry, you see about 200, 300 films being made. It's like an amazing amount of films.
But I will say that it wasn't just 2015, but I think Rajamouli sir did kind of take his films outside before that, because my very first memory of watching a Telugu film was Magadhira, which came
2006,
long ago.
11 or 12?
Yeah, I think around that phase.
So I feel it was already happening. It's not that we didn't grow up watching films which were made in another language.
Iga, we have watched.
Yeah,
but now it's
on a larger scale. Yeah, he kind of broke all the boundaries. I think it's a good change, man, because now you can spend more if you want. You can make some global scale. Like you see how Kalki is being made now on a scale. I think because of all these barriers being broken down, I think now they're able to get people from other industries. Like have Kamal Hassan sir work in that with Prabhas Garu and a bunch of other actors from other industries. I think it's amazing that we're converging into one big film industry.
Yeah, and it's
even,
great.
It's great.
It even gives like a certain. You even get to experience such a different culture, like something which is so local as what we saw in Kantara. Now, I have lived in Bangalore for 7 years, growing up. So, I have friends who knew of those festivals, but it was so well received in states that do not speak Kannada and had no idea about these rituals. So, that's also very interesting how through cinema you're somewhere blurring those lines of cultural differences or even language barriers.
Right.
In fact, actually, Kantara had released 1 month before down south, and it released in Hindi 1 month later. And
like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah,
I think,
and it did like really good business. I'm a Bengali. I've always been very proud of my Bengali films also, and there's a line which we've grown up actually loving and respecting and genuinely having a lot of adulation for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Right.
And there's a line which I completely connect with, that there are two types of people. There was a Mahatma Gandhi, which is also idealistic, and then there is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who's also idealistic in a different way.
Yes.
Who do you, in your personal life, like when you have to deal with situations, we are all fighting wars within.
Right.
I want to know, who do you relate to more? Are you that one who will be fighting? Are you the one who will be silently taking it all in?
I think the answer is you need to know when you have to be Gandhiji and when you have to be Netaji. You have to kind of know every battle is not meant to be fought, but there are times where you have to fight.
I mean, that's
so
a good
you need to kind of balance it out.
I think it's the same, man. Initially growing up, I was more of a Netaji kind of a guy, like fighting for everything. But I can't compare myself from what I do to what he did.
Yeah.
But later with time, I realized sometimes you don't have to speak, you don't have to talk, you don't have to fight. Your silence can answer. I believe that, as Manushi said, it's a mix of both. You need to know when to calm down or when to raise your hand.
I want to ask this, that both of you come from very different backgrounds.
Right.
But you have your own journeys and your own challenges. Like when we speak about you come from a legacy, and if you live up to it, there's constant pressure that every film of yours have to live up to that legacy. And you come from a complete outsider background where you've made it on your own. But both of you had your own challenges. What's the toughest time or the toughest war that you've actually fought within when it comes to the profession that you had to deal with vis-a-vis this?
For me, it was just the lack of access and information and just figuring it out on my own. It's not that I have someone at home who can really give me advice which is specific to the industry.
Yeah.
I do take a lot of advice from my parents and my siblings, but it's not actor specific. They're an audience, which is great. So I guess discovering that on my own and understanding, it's not like I grew up thinking I'm going to become an actor. Like I didn't actively think about it. So I think I initially, when I came and I started my first film, when I signed my first film, I felt very underprepared, and that's what I told Adi sir. And he was there to kind of guide me, and of course we trained for 8-9 months. But somewhere there, I feel that maybe that's the one thing, that's the one maybe con of not being from the industry, where you don't know people. You're like now I know exactly who is who and who does what. I didn't even know oh my god, this is so embarrassing, but I didn't know who a DOP is.
Oh shit.
I didn't grow up, I used to watch a film and I knew, okay, there are actors.
There's the cameraman.
No,
DOP.
No, but I didn't understand the job. I didn't understand, okay, that there's lighting, and I had no idea. So maybe just going into a world which is so unfamiliar and so new, that was a big challenge. And I think I'm doing decent.
Did you make mistakes? Did you make mistakes?
Of course, you always make mistakes, and then you learn, and then you kind of don't make them again unless you're...
I personally believe that you learn more from mistakes.
Absolutely.
I think, I've had a bunch of successful films and unsuccessful films. I think there was more to take away from the films that didn't work. The thing is, you don't dwell on your failures. You try to... initially I was a little trashed by as you said, the legacy I come from and all of that. There's a sense of pressure that you need to deliver successful films, but it doesn't happen. It's not that smooth. So when your film doesn't do well, when you're having so much of a pressure from social media or people coming and telling you what to do, what not to do, it's definitely a little upsetting, especially when you're growing up. Like that was me initially in the first few years of me getting into acting, but later I understood how to deal with it. And now for me, only thing that matters to me is if I know deep down that I've put in all my efforts into making this film. I mean, sometimes your choices can go wrong. That's fine, but you learn from them. So when a film doesn't do well, I don't sit at home and dwell. I try to call people around me who are very who can critique about it, who can give you some constructive criticism, understand what actually went through. So I try to learn that, especially on the day of the release. If I knew it bombed, I just call people around. I just want to know what went wrong with this. And I would try to implement that to my next film and see if it doesn't. See that I don't do that same mistakes again. But it's always a learning experience. You don't end up. You always end up learning with every film. It's a never-ending process.
But in the beginning, when you said that it used to get to you, did you also put a lot of pressure on yourself? Like what happens is when you come from a film family, you automatically take that pressure on yourself as well. It's not just the noise from outside; it's also the noise that's within.
Luckily, my parents, my dad or my uncles who were in the industry, they always made sure. Probably they knew that I would get into the situation where I would end up getting pressurized. But from the beginning, even before I even felt or heard or seen something like that, they've kind of made sure that I'm ready and equipped to deal with situations like this. So they kept telling me, you don't have to take pressure. You're an actor. This is a medium where you come out and express and do what you like. So don't get into or bask into this success or numbers or commercial films or anything. Go and explore and do. You will figure out on your own what you're good at or what your strengths are, and then you can play. It's a long haul. It's not that you're getting into this for 1 or 2 films. So you see the longer picture and try to understand and analyze what is good for you. So everyone has their own space in this industry. That's what I believe.
From what I know that I think your brother is going to come down to launch the trailer, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I want to know that, today everybody is doing work in their respective spaces, but you guys have grown up together. So of course you know each other from a lens which we of course don't. What is it that you take away from maybe an Allu Arjun or a Ram Charan which you feel that maybe you imbibe from them? Not like you don't have it and you take it, but I'm saying you imbibe a little bit from them.
There's something I've seen from especially Allu Arjun, even after hitting a lot of success and all of that, the amount of hard work he puts in. I mean, he's an exceptionally good dancer, but he has a dance studio where even till today he has. He practices dance for a few hours every now and then. See, he doesn't have to, he can take it easy. But I see that hard work and the time that he puts into detailing or anything. I think that is something that I would like to learn from him. And when it comes to Charnana, he's a very balanced person. He kind of, in the younger generation, he's the one that puts the family together. I mean, other than him being an exceptionally good actor and all of that, for me, I really look up to him as a person, and I'm really happy that I have someone like that who I can mentor with and who can go and talk to and all of that.
When we talk about Charan, there are 2 people sitting who
I had a feeling this was coming.
who love him a lot. I told you yesterday that I think that he's a huge star, but again I think that he's an amazing human being, which is why possibly in the beginning when I was just in Calcutta, I used to love people for the movies. But when you meet them often, then you actually tend to like people for who they are and how they are in person. Did you get to meet him finally? Did he make you?
No, not yet.
What?
Not yet. I was playing it too cool with Arjun.
But why? You didn't tell him?
I told you, right?
Yeah, she told me she likes his work.
Yeah. Oh, you told him that you like his work only?
No. I told
The guts.
What? No.
Is there a backstory that I'm supposed to know?
Oh my God, you don't know this.
Wait. What are you guys talking about? Wait,
about
let me speak.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I shall tell the story straight and exactly how it is. I watched a film called RRR, which I absolutely loved, and I watched this film and I fell in love with both the actors, and I became a big fan of Ram Charan after that.
Okay.
And I said this in an interview, and ever since, like, everyone knows that I'm a fan of his, and you know I'm a fan of his.
Yeah, you
That's the
mentioned
thing
that,
I
yeah.
told him the first schedule that we shot together. I did tell you about this.
Yes, you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his.
You know, there's something about there's something called South hospitality. So when I was this is a South brand and I love it because I'm finally with like a completely South brand, completely exclusive. But I remember that I used to travel to Hyderabad to do these interviews for another South brand, and the
Yeah.
way they used to treat us. The first time I went there and the way they treated me, I called up my mom and I said, "Oh my God, they're treating me like a prince, like I'm somebody. I don't know why this doesn't happen here." And how, like, they have a certain, they're different in
Yeah.
the way they treat people, greet people. So when you went and shot there, what were the differences that you noticed in people's attitude or people's work ethic towards you, especially?
Well, I think there's a lot of special, like, there was a lot of just genuine, like, bonding on set in terms of, like, I could really talk to people, and it wasn't. See, I also went, like, I was working there as an actor in a very different capacity.
Yeah.
I found it very, in certain ways, very chilled out. You know, I had Giri with me throughout. who
She had a
I
bunch of good ladies working with her.
absolutely bullied, but it was nice. I think food was great. Every day I've had home cooked meals every single day. So, but there was, because there was a bit of a language barrier, maybe. So there was still a little, like, communication gap in a lot of things. But I love the way they do things there. I think there's a lot of love for cinema, and there's a lot of love for people who work in the film industry over there, which I really enjoyed. All my schedules in Hyderabad, I felt like home. I never felt like I was working, you know, I was away from home. So I would agree with you on the South hospitality bit. Everyone's been very kind and very accommodating.
Yeah. There's a different level of brotherhood among everybody down there. Like, you know, there would be people coming down and promoting each other's films, and there would be people who will come and launch the trailer. Somehow here there is a sense of, I won't say insecurity, but there's a sense of competition which stops people. And the senior actors, like I spoke to Salman sir, and Salman sir said that, you know, when we used to work back in the 90s, and when we were starting off, we used to do so many of those multi-starers, and we wouldn't care about who's got a bigger role and everything. And today people are very stuck up here. How do you see, because there are not many multi-starers there again.
Also, yeah.
But there's a lot of brotherhood. It's a very weird dichotomy.
I think, I mean, obviously it depends. See, that I told you the fan system down south, it's the worship that they have towards their actors or their idols is a little crazy. It's phenomenal. So somewhere, and after a while, the actor, when he gets into this space of becoming a star and having such a huge following, I think sometimes they play those roles and characters to the liking of their fans. So it's sometimes you see, for example, if you say Mr. Rajinikanth, sir, sometimes on screen it's not the character that you see, you actually see him.
Yeah.
So like even it's the same with Salman sir also. I think after a certain stage in life, after achieving that larger than life persona, I think it's very tough for them to share space with someone else. It's not about their ego. It's about balancing their fans. So they wouldn't be okay with it. It's the worship that we have in India.
But you also
down
faced the
south.
brunt of it very recently.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. But I think, but I feel that we are actually moving towards that zone. Like I've done a film with Venkatesh Garu called F2. He's a very senior hero. But you know, we shed the ego aside and we worked towards the script, and it went on to becoming a blockbuster. It made about 100 CR or something.
Yeah.
So I think new scripts will come out, and if people like put all these aside and work towards the craft and nothing else. Well, I can't speak for everyone else, but I think from my side I'm doing that effort and trying not to see how much space I have, just trying to go by the character in the script.
Lovely. It's called Operation Valentine, so I'm gonna wrap up with a question that, for what I know, you of course are single, and I would love to know from you first that what are the qualities that you look for in a person to relate or to connect with them?
The first thing, someone I can just talk to and like communicate, like the communication has to be easy. Otherwise, it's such a long and such a vague answer.
I think communication is key in any relationship.
You know, can understand you and someone you can understand as well. That's the core of it, and then everything else. I mean, everything else, I'll figure it out.
And for you, you just got married.
Yeah.
I want to know how did this love story start, and what are the qualities that you think she tolerates about you, and what are the qualities that you tolerate and love about her?
That's what I was telling you. I mean, it's a 7-year-old relationship,
Yeah.
so probably take me another 70 odd minutes to explain. The thing is, you got to love everything about the other person. It's not just some qualities, the upside and the downside. I mean, even the bad and the good characteristics also. That is only when, that is the only way you can love a person selflessly, understand and like them with the negative things also. And deal with those, and it's majorly about balance also, I feel. It's about understanding. The thing is, my wife is everything I'm not. So I think she kind of balances out that things that I'm not good at. I think you have to be there for each other, being supportive, being able to communicate, having a shoulder at times, and sometimes being critical about your work. I think it's just not one little thing that will suffice. It's a deeper subject.
End of the day, it's a partnership, right?
Yeah.
So I think you have to work as a team.
Yes, yeah.
But do you remember your first meeting with her? What were your first
I
thoughts?
think I met her at a party. I was in the corner. I told you I was an introvert. I was not talking to anyone. I was in the corner. Probably she thought, who's this poor sad guy standing in the corner? She came and said hi. And then we ended up working in a film. That's where we started. We hit it off.
But all the best, and I hope that this gets you a lot of love, because the teaser is out. I'm sure the trailer is going to be out in a week or something.
Yes.
And I hope that this actually does what you sought out, like what you made it for.
Yes.
And we know that. And after the movie, I hope we have a longer conversation about the whole thing, because then we'll watch the movie and then we'll get to talk a little more.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.